wrong button. My bad. Welcome
Dead
back.
air, way to go. Just wasting away.
I just zoned.
Bro.
All right, welcome back to the Deep Threats Podcast. It is Sunday, week 15 of the NFL. We are here and live and ready to go and dive into these games. But before we do that, I have some news for my wonderful co-host today. I know he loves being here, but as always, Mr. Wheels, say hello.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming out and joining us. We were live Friday. We will be live every Friday at 8 p.m.
8 p.m., man. We're going to have some fun Fridays coming up.
Free for all Fridays.
Yes.
Bring what you want to talk about, and we will discuss it with you.
That sounds good to me. All right, before we get into that, I have a few things for you today. You ready?
Okay.
Did you hear what happened with Andy Reid?
The $100,000 fine for him and $50,000 fine for Patrick Mahomes, yes.
Actually, it wasn't for talking smack on the refs. It's because they found him eating on the sideline.
They have a no snack policy. Was he having those nuggies on the sideline?
They have a no snack policy.
Who was the
Do you get it?
Yes.
Jesus.
I get it.
This is why I can't talk to him. He's
I'm
like
sorry.
interrupting my wonderful joke.
I'm sorry, but speaking of that, who was the quarterback that ate on the sideline?
I don't remember. But did you also hear what they fined him in? It was 100,000 cheeseburgers.
That's a lot of money. I mean, technically, that would be more than $100,000 because I don't think you could get a cheeseburger for $1 anymore.
Yeah. That would be. There's no dollar menu here.
That's like a 3-to-1 ratio there. $3 for every one cheeseburger.
That's pretty good. Sorry, guys. I want to start off the show with like the most corniest joke out there. And I know
Where's Aaron?
Yeah,
we
where's
need dad
Aaron?
jokes.
Yeah, where's Aaron with the dad jokes? We need him today. Actually, speaking of that, Wheels is not doing good on his duties.
Oh, did I not mute us? I'm sorry.
No, you didn't put us on over there.
I want to watch Sports Center while I do the show, but I allowed to do that, KJ?
If you use the other TV.
Yeah, the one that's blocked by the biggest dry erase board. Sure.
All right,
my X-ray vision.
But before we get into any of this, we are going right back to Sports Center. There's like a button controlled on his finger that says Sports Center only.
Leave me alone.
All right. Good morning on this wonderful Sunday morning. I hope you guys watched those games yesterday because I was 100% accurate again.
Yep, you've been 100% accurate since the Thursday game, actually. The only game that I missed on was the Denver game, which... We'll get into that.
Yeah. Well, first thing, we'll just get into the way these games went, right? So at the start of the day, you had Minnesota went into into Cincinnati. They played that game. Very lackluster. It's actually the opposite way of what I thought was going to happen. I thought the Bengals, because they have chemistry in the offense, was going to come out and was going to play heavy to start, but it went the other way. The Minnesota Vikings came out, played heavy to start, and then Cincy was like, yeah, don't count us out, and they came back and won that game. And by the way, I think I said 28-24, and it ended 27-24 in overtime. So I was pretty darn close on the way that game was going to go. Ryan almost had it because he said 27.
You did say 28-24.
Ryan almost had it. He said 24-17 Minnesota.
We don't need the Keely Ringos.
But I'm just saying he said Minnesota.
He did.
And then it looked like that, within, what was it, like 2 minutes left in the game?
He also said start the Bengals defense.
Yeah, I said start none of those defenses.
Yeah, I could see where he's wanted to start the Bengals defense because of Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins did not look good.
But you want to know what's funny? What did I say? Start the Steelers and the Colts defense. You could start both those defenses. What happened yesterday?
Well,
you could have started both those defenses.
The Steelers took out 2 of the Colts players, or you get points for that if they counted.
But the Steelers also got that pick that almost scored him a touchdown. And then they got another.
There's 3 interceptions for the Colts, I think.
And what did I say? I saw 5.
Yeah.
And I think there might have been 5 turnovers in that game again.
There might have been.
Might have been more.
I thought there was a fumble, but it was a fumble that was recovered by. Maybe.
There might have been more. But
it might have been 5. You might be right. Hold on.
But I know that this Minnesota going into Cincinnati, Nick Mullins, by the way, did way better than Josh Dobbs. He's more consistent, a little riskier when throwing the ball, and that's what you kind of get out of that game. Cincinnati Bengals defense stepped up. They took away the ball when they needed to. Like I said, it took forever to score.
3 total turnovers. So it was close. All by the Steelers.
Jamar Chase went out in that game.
Separated shoulders. So I asked him, I said, I'm so separated shoulders.
Give me the remote. You haven't figured it out yet.
I'm trying to. Separated shoulders. I don't have any experience in predicting those, but for that, I think he would be out the rest of the year, right?
If it's a separated shoulder, he's out for the season because you can't lift your arm.
And that's a huge loss. But how about T. Higgins? You said it this morning, and I agree with you. I said, that is the moment of, hey, you have to pay me, right?
I don't.
For T. Higgins.
See, here's the thing. I don't think T. Higgins was ever about the money.
No, but
the league has been saying, well, you're going to have to pay this guy eventually. So I think there's a common conception.
And I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't pay him, there's a lot of teams, and there's 2 in your division that have a lot of money that could use a wide receiver right now.
So I told Ryan, and I've been seeing this kind of like mentally for like 2 years.
You don't want him going to the Bengals or Cleveland.
I've been seeing this mentally for like 2 years. If Amari Cooper walks, retires, or whatever, like I can see the Browns
I would buy a
going
jersey
after
immediately.
T. Higgins.
Immediately.
I don't think it makes sense because you went and traded a second for Elijah Moore. Cedric Tillman's starting to have decent games with Amari Cooper. But if Amari Cooper's gone, I 100% can see us going after a guy
I didn't like that
T.
Elijah Moore trade. I'm not ready to be out. We still have 2 more years after this year, the kid. So I wasn't happy.
One more under his rookie contract.
One more under, yeah. I wasn't happy with giving up a second-round pick, but I think he does stretch the field a little bit more, especially on the sidelines. It's just
he's a very good route runner.
I don't blame him. It's more the inconsistent quarterback play they've had to deal with.
Completely agree.
Which I'm not blaming the wide receivers because all these guys are throwing different balls. I mean, Joe Flacco has the best touch. Then you have DTR who's slinging it. PJ Walker slinging it, and I would say Watson. He has a soft touch too. That's not a joke, but.
But let's stay on this. Let's stay on this Minnesota game. So I have a question for you. JJ also went out in this game. He's still dealing with that ankle injury.
Yeah. Jordan Addison stepped up big for them. 31 fantasy points. He was on my bench. That hurts. But another guy who a great draft pick for that Minnesota GM and that Minnesota team who stepped up, and he could definitely be something with JJ there.
You said Ty Chandler was going to have a game. He actually had his best game of his career.
Yeah, I think
yesterday.
What, two touchdowns?
He had over 100 yards and I think a touchdown. I don't think he had 2. But I could be wrong. I know the other kid, Goodson. So what's his name? Something Goodson stepped up into the role of that. Oh no, different team. Sorry.
Ty Chandler, 23 attempts, 132 yards.
Yeah, he had a game of his career.
Let me ask you this. I know the Bengals run defense is god awful. Depending on how Madison is rest of the year.
God awful, but
depending on how Madison's injury is, do you just ride the hot hand, which is Ty Chandler right now?
No, I think you need to get both guys workload and try to take the stress off your quarterback.
And Ty Chandler, he caught 3 passes for 25 yards. So, I mean, he definitely played well.
I think the objective is you need to, if you're an offensive coordinator in that system, you have a decent run game, and that's what's been missing all year, and you need to take the stress off the quarterback. And I think what you need to do is you need to try to use Madison in close goal line and third down situations, and you use Ty Chandler the rest of the game. That's how I think it should look. It's kind of like a Monty and Jameer kind of argument. Okay. That's how you should utilize these guys. This is the reason why running backs aren't getting paid either, because it takes 2 to fill a system. Very few are workhorse backs. And I know a lot of people like to say, what do you consider a workhorse back? I consider a workhorse back playing 1 to 4 downs.
Almost an every snap guy, right? That's your
workhorse. I mean, it's a guy who's toting the ball over 300 times a year. That's why I argue that Nick Chubb is a workhorse back. And I know a lot of people are like, well, you've had Kareem Hunt, you've had Dearness Johnson, you've had Jerome Ford. And I get all those arguments, but the problem with those arguments is he's still carrying the ball and he's on the field majority of the time. Now, looking at Madison, I don't know if you have to start him. I know you need to win games. So whatever it takes to win games, I think you need to do. You play 2 division games left, and you play Dallas this year. So you play Detroit, Dallas, Detroit.
You pretty much have to win out to win your division. And you got to hope Detroit loses out.
I think they end in Detroit.
You play your next 2. You play Detroit.
Sorry.
And then you're at home against the Cowboys, and then you're in Detroit, I think.
No, you said you're in Dallas. I'm pretty sure you said they're in Dallas. I'm pretty sure. I think it's home, Dallas, and because they have the hardest schedule, remember? Because they were in first place in their division. So I think they end away.
No, it's...
is it home?
No, it's... So the Vikings... No, the Vikings is Lions, Packers, Lions. I was thinking of Detroit.
Oh, you're right. My bad. So it's Lions, Packers, Lions. So they still have three. Oh, they have 3 division games.
Yeah, and the Lions is Vikings in Minnesota, Cowboys in Dallas, and then you finish against the Vikings at home, like you said. So yeah,
It'll be funny to watch Green Bay Packers fans root for Detroit.
And Johnny, where are you at?
Yeah, where you at, Johnny? But let's move on from here. Obviously, this game had a lot of implications in the playoffs. Cincinnati had moved to the 5th seed in the AFC. I know my things before the show are a little different. That's because I've been trying to stay up to date on everything, and I didn't catch that. So the Bengals are 5th in the AFC. The Steelers going into the next game with that loss to the Steelers had.
That hurts. So that drops them out. They're out.
You said the 10 seed, right? Well, they're not out, but they're at the 10 seed.
Yeah, they dropped. They dropped out of the wild card for as of right now.
They're at the bottom of the wild card race right now.
They're bottom of the AFC as well.
Well, yeah, because I guess if you're 10 seed, there's only 16 teams, so you're pretty low. But that being said, upside, Mitch got benched for Mason Rudolph, right?
Yeah, for a total of 3 attempts.
Yeah.
For 3 yards.
And let's be honest,
2 of those were complete.
Mitch didn't have a horrendous game, but they fell off because what the play calling has been.
30 unanswered points. You know that, right?
Yeah.
30 unanswered points.
The play calling has been, and let's be honest, why is the defense giving up 30 points? They're supposed to be this great defense, right?
Who controls the defense?
Mike Tomlin.
Okay, and what do we always say? There's nothing against Mike Tomlin. Yeah, he's in the AFC North.
It's everything again. I'm done babying this. It's everything against Mike Tomlin.
If you can't win your side of the ball, what are you doing? Guess what? Bill Belichick is still winning his side of the ball with the Patriots.
He's a top 10 defense.
Yeah.
Top 10 defense.
And I know Steelers, they're top 10 defense, but
no, they're not.
Against the Colts, there's no reason you should have let up 30.
The Steelers are not a top 10 defense. Oh, I guess they are.
They're 8th.
Whatever.
Right?
Yeah, it showed them 8th. Yards,
they might have dropped.
Which I'm not understanding that because yards per game.
Well, but look at the points. The points is where it matters. The Browns were 15th last year, but we were allowing the most points in the NFL.
Well, yards per game, they look like they're sitting around 20th.
And they're probably giving up, the 3rd most points per game?
No, that's why. The points per game, they are the lowest. They're in the lowest. They're top 8. That's what put them at 8.
Okay, so giving up 30 against, if you, Mike Tomlin, as a head coach that is a god essentially in Pittsburgh, if you can't win your side of the ball, everything I feel like is crumbling beneath him. I mean, I don't remember a time with the locker room and just quarterback issues. They have not been at the top of the game since their Super Bowl, I want to say. And yes, you have he's been above 500 however many years. Congratulations. How many Super Bowls do you have in that time?
One.
So above 500 doesn't mean anything. No one gives a crap about your record.
A lot of coaches get fired with winning records.
No one cares about your record unless you win the last game of the year. No one cares. That's what it comes down to. You don't win the Super Bowl. I don't care what you did. You lost. You didn't get us any farther. And it feels like the Steelers are now just getting dirt shoveled on top of them. They're dead. I feel like they're just the team in general, even TJ Watt, that team just looks gassed. And the defense especially, because the defense is out there so much. And I understand, but guess what? You got to figure out the offense. Kenny's not the guy. Mitch isn't the guy. You're going to have to either trade for somebody, sign somebody in the offseason. You have a lot of work to do. Najee Harris does not look good. Again, outgained by Jaylen Warren. 10 attempts for 40 yards for Jaylen Warren and 12 attempts for 33 yards for Najee Harris, averaged 2.8 yards per attempt. That is bad.
So I went to Sports Not because they're actually unbiasedly kind of ranking the defense without stats. Like they're combining all the stats. The Steelers are at 11. Steelers at 11.
Okay.
Now I know where the Steelers are very good is red zone defense. So they're 9th in allowed touchdowns and scores in the red zone. And that's why the points per game is looking good.
When you flip it, their offense can't get to the red zone.
100%. I don't disagree with that. So
like I said, it's just
they might be the 32nd offense in the NFL.
The defense is gassed. You can see it with how much time they've had to spend on the field. But everybody knew this last year. Kenny wasn't your guy. I know we don't like to say it after one year.
I definitely did not know that last year.
Kenny,
I did not. I still don't know if Kenny's not the guy.
And everybody says, "Oh, Kenny had a great preseason. Kenny had a great preseason." Guess what?
Preseason doesn't matter.
Preseason doesn't matter.
I still don't know if Kenny's not the guy.
I think
if they get an OC, there might be some conversation. But I will tell you, Mitch looked really good at the start of that game.
I'll take Mac Jones over Kenny.
Well, Mitch looked really good at the start of that game. Like Mitch was making passes. They were moving the ball.
Bad decisions. We exactly said it. Mitch is a worse version of Gardner.
Mitch, all puns intended, is just ballsy.
Yeah.
He's willing to be more risky.
But guess what? When you're a backup, you can be ballsy. Look at Gardner Minshew. They're not going to sit the guy. The dude's
also
18, 25.
Can you explain to me the play calling, why you're going to keep running Najee Harris on the goal line when Jaylen Warren is the only guy that's been productive? And Najee hit that line like he was walking.
We've said it before, and I know I hate comparing it to Browns players. I hate doing, but he looks like Trent Richardson in his second.
Well, no, he's very comparable to Trent Richardson.
He does it. He hits bodies. He doesn't hit the hole.
Yeah, it looks pretty bad.
He's not. It's just. I don't know what's going on.
On the plus side, on the opposite side of the ball, the Colts still have a run game without Zach Moss. With what'd you say Goodson's first name was? I can't remember.
Tyler Goodson.
Tyler Goodson and Trey Sermon were somewhat productive in that game.
Yeah,
Trey Sermon is. I've been calling Trey Sermon a bust since he came out of college. So he got drafted, I want to say, by Arizona and then cut, and then San Francisco picked him up and then cut. So Trey Sermon has just not made it on any team. But God bless you. But Michael Pittman went out in this game with a concussion.
Zach Moss went out with an arm injury.
Also with an ejected player on the Steelers. I can't remember his name. Number 23.
KZ. Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, that sounds about right, actually. He hit Josh Downs once early, and they were going to call her unnecessary roughness and targeting. They didn't. And then he hit Michael Pittman shortly after that.
Demonte Casey.
Demonte Casey. And they
4 tackles, 1 assist.
Which, by the way, let me tell you, that's Steelers defense. That's what the Steelers defense. They play aggressive and they hit hard.
That's AFC North. They played like that for years.
Yep. So I'm not opposed to the hits he's making. I think that's football. I think that if you come to the AFC North, you're in for a tough game, and this is why people that leave the AFC North leave crippled.
Also, the AFC North has the best record in all of the NFL.
Yes, we have the most wins in the AFC North alone. Correct. I agree. And I would just say that when they're the Colts, and they are one of the highest scoring offenses, and they showed that again yesterday. They put up 31?
30. And I think that strengthens your Coach of the Year bid for.
It does. I think Steichen beating the Steelers is definitely. I mean, they don't have an easy division.
And I'm not saying.
Yeah, they do. I lied.
I'm not saying Richardson. He's going to be good. I think he'll be good with this offense, but Gardner Minshew is making a name for him being a starting quarterback after this year.
No, I still turns the ball over too much. This is a Mitch Trubisky, not Mitch. Sorry, no, hold on, no.
He's better than Mitch.
This is actually they compared him to Mitch all day in this game yesterday. They said they're both gunslingers that turn over the ball. No, you know who this is? This is Fitzmagic. Gardner Minshew reminds me of Fitzmagic. When you think about the energy around the player, you think about his ability to sling the rock, you think about the ability to put up points, but you think about the ability to also lose you games, right?
Yeah.
It's Fitzmagic to me.
He's up there with
Mo Alley Cox again, by the way.
Yeah, 14 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. So yeah, he's almost at a 2-1. So you're not wrong. He's about a 1.7 to 1.
He just has a habit of turning the ball over.
It's Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't hate it.
That's what he's a journeyman. Like, he's going places. He plays well when he comes in. Sometimes he doesn't.
Has talent. There's talent all over the field from offensively. Alex Pierce. And you have Michael Pittman. You have
I'm not arguing.
Josh Downs,
he could go to the Raiders next year, right, and kind of be a bridge guy for the rookie, right? Like, he can do something like that. Like, and that's what Fitzmagic did in Miami, right? Tua came in. They weren't worried about starting him because they started Fitzmagic.
Buffalo.
Yep, did the same thing with Buffalo. He did the same thing with Washington.
And it's like the kid. People got to remember this kid was taken the same year as Baker. He was a 7th round draft pick.
I'm not opposed to Gardner.
And they're both putting up similar stats. They are.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't looked at. I think maybe
28, 14, and 8.
I would argue that Baker has more touchdowns, but I would also argue Baker has Mike Evans.
I think Baker has 19.
I would also argue Baker has Mike Evans.
I know Baker has 2,900 yards, 20 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. So he's more. But
he's playing better. He's playing better. All All right. Not much going on here, right? The Colts stayed in the playoffs.
I would compare him to Baker.
Well, I'm not going to compare him to the same year. I'm going to compare him to guys who already had a career. And I think this is the problem. We're afraid to compare guys to guys who have left the NFL.
And I am because Ryan Fitzpatrick was like you said, he's a journeyman, which Gardner Minshew could definitely be a journeyman. He's already on his 4th team since 2018.
Jacksonville, Philly, Colts.
He was on another. You might be right.
I think that's it. He started in not Jackson. Was it Jacksonville?
Jacksonville, Philly, Colts. Yep, he's on his 3rd team in 5 years.
Yeah, and Baker's on his 5th team in 3 years. So,
maybe Baker's the journeyman. Maybe Baker's driving the Jackson.
I'm just saying. So we'll move on from this game. Like I said, there was implications in this game. The Colts hold their spot. The Steelers drop. Not good for the Steelers just because of the situation they're in with the draft. All right, moving on here. This is the game where I told you guys that I wanted Denver to win, or I didn't want Denver to lose. I felt like Denver was trending up, but at some point they had to lose. 6-game winning streak. And that's what happened. Detroit ended up popping off and taking Denver out of the game. Now, Go ahead and give me your gripes because I just said Steichen should be coach of the year with what he's done with that team. And we had very strong arguments for Sean Payton. But now Sean Payton has a 500.
I told you this morning. I said, Sean Payton has lost my bid for coach of the year.
All right. Well, Sean Payton's at 500 now, which makes it harder, right?
And play calling. There was at least 2 plays on that. I think Javonte had a touchdown. You should have thrown a flag. And then the offsides. Obviously, I don't think he was offsides. And then you go and you yell at Russell Wilson.
Oh, yeah, the over the... I just saw that this morning.
And then he went over and yelled at Russell Wilson like it was his fault.
No, I don't. I actually don't think that's what was called. I think what was happening, and I know very little about this, but I think what was happening based on what I saw this morning was that Sean Payton, he didn't take Sean Payton's play. That's what I think personally happened. He didn't want to call out Russell on the stand, and Russell didn't want to call out Sean Payton on the stand.
Okay.
So I think what happened...
I don't hate that.
...was he didn't take... And you know Russell. Russell's going to do whatever the hell Russell wants to do. And that's part of the reason Sean Payton was brought in, was to rein that in. So that's what I think happened, but we'll never know until it airs out. So
freaking Duncan.
What'd they do to your coffee?
Gave me coffee. I usually get hot chocolate. Assholes.
Do you want a hot chocolate? That says large hot drink.
Like hot coffee. I'm a child.
Large hot original coffee. Anna, if you're watching, Wheels would like a hot chocolate. Now, please. I'm just kidding.
She's no.
Just pounding on the ceiling.
Pirine outgained Javonte on half carry. Half his carry.
And Ryan did say Pirine is the backup.
6 for 37 and 12 for 27.
How did Jaleel do?
He had 2 for 2.
So Jaleel got no touches.
Jaleel should have had a touchdown. I was saying Jaleel should have had a touchdown.
Which is where Pirine should have got the ball.
And they did, and they didn't call. They didn't challenge it, and so did Javonte, and they didn't challenge it.
But that's where you should be running Pirine.
You should, because he's the bigger back.
He's the bigger back. Actually, we were having that. I was watching the show, the Colts game, and they kept running the smaller back. They were trying to
Trey Sermon.
Yeah, I think they were trying to.
Tiny.
They kept trying to put I think Trey Sermon into the end zone, or maybe it was the Bengals game. I can't remember. But they kept using the smaller back. It might have been Minnesota trying to push in, because that's when they tried the tush push and all that crap.
Yeah. So I just want to go back to that for 1 second if we can.
Yeah,
three straight tush pushes.
Hold on, before we get to that. So the implications here, right? Detroit won. Detroit is now 10-4. They're now battling for first place in the NFC.
Denver is now 7th.
And I think Detroit has locked in playoff position, but not division winner.
Yeah, so they do not have an easy road. Detroit does not.
But I think they can lose out and they still make wild card.
Yeah, if they lose out, they still make wild card.
Correct.
But they cannot. They have not clinched division. And in order to clinch division, they need a one law.
No, they need one more win.
One more win.
They need to win next week against Minnesota.
Yeah, duh. Gosh.
If they to clinch, they just need one more week win against Minnesota, and they'll clinch first place in their division.
Yeah. So,
which is why I think it's funny when my sister kept saying if Green Bay wins 8 games, they win the Super Bowl, and I'm laughing. I'm like, you do realize they still have to beat. They still need Detroit to lose.
Let's look at the Packers schedule. Hold on. Packers are 6-7. They go Buccaneers, Panthers, Vikings, Bears. So that's another team that's Buccaneers, that's a tough team. The Vikings, they're in Minnesota, and they're at home against the Bears. And the Bears right now are hot.
This Bears are... Well, they won't be after this week.
I don't know.
So let's get... Now, go ahead. Tush push. Get out of this conversation.
Kevin O'Connell, real quick. Another guy who could have possibly been in our bid for Coach of the Year.
Not in mine.
3 straight rushes, you didn't gain a single yard.
Oh, by the way.
You can't have that.
The reason why Kevin O'Connell would have not been in the conversation because they were projected to be as good as last year.
With losing... Well, you lost Kirk, but... So...
Which is also the argument why I don't like Stefanski,
Kevin
right?
O'Connell has a lot of... You can tell he's a younger head coach because of what some of the plays he calls. It doesn't, sit in my head well with a tush push 3 straight times. They know it's coming. The way you line up, you're not changing anything. You're not even putting the guy in motion. Nothing. You're just lining up, push. You got to get some type of motion in there. Get somebody to draw.
And I don't get it when you have T.J. Hawkinson.
Use TJ. You have a fullback. You pay a fullback for an entire year, and you didn't use him once.
Who's their fullback? They have a fullback?
I think it's C.J. Ham.
Oh, yeah. That might be right.
You didn't use him once in the tush push behind Nick Mullins.
That might be right.
Once.
Yeah, I mean, do the old style fullback setup where the fullback goes in front and you use the running back.
He's had 1 attempt all year, C.J. Ham, but still, the dude's.
I'm going to tell you right now, and maybe it's just because the Eagles make it look so easy. What's probably
5'11", 250.
What I would argue is probably more successful in the NFL is a fullback popping a hole open for the running back to run over top.
It's a lead block.
Yeah, I would argue, well, mainly the fullback, right? Because the Browns, actually, look what the Browns have been doing. They keep bringing in a offensive lineman as a fullback.
Yeah, and guess what? When we're getting into those 3rd and shorts, that's what exactly
almost
what happens.
Every time we get those 2-3 yards.
Everybody wants to ban. I shouldn't say everybody. Many people want to ban the tush push. Why? Because the Eagles are successful and no other team is. Why ban it? They practice it week in, week out. You know what the key link to that tush push is?
Is one of the
Jason
best centers
Kelce.
in the NFL.
That is your key.
A 5'8" center who can drop
people
below
want to say,
everybody's knees.
That's soft football. They're just getting the yard and getting the touchdown. Guess what? Then stop them. Stop them. It's not that hard if you know what's coming.
What's funny? You know what I was thinking about today? And I was thinking about this, and think about the wave of coaches that have come into the NFL, and think about the way they have been coaching, right? Like going forward on 4th down.
And ballsy.
Well,
ballsy.
Are they Madden coaches?
The first generation. You're not wrong, because if I'm at my 50, I'm always going. Like if I'm at my 45, 50,
I'm never punting.
No. Unless I'm backed up in my own zone.
I never punt in Madden.
If I was 3rd and 16,
I'm never punting.
I gotta punt.
No, I'll find a way.
But
here's the problem, right? This is kind of what you're seeing in the NFL.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys who are like, it's Madden. Go for it.
And
there's got to be a play call where it works.
And everybody hates. It's good. They hate you because you're successful, right? They're hating on Philly because of the tush push. Guess what? You know what's coming. Stop them. It's not that hard to stop.
I'm just saying.
If you know what's coming,
if you look at what's been going on in the NFL, like old school football is not getting utilized.
No, it's more analytical to what's
bigger plays, chunk yards. It's Madden football.
There's points.
It's funny.
There's points to be had at times, but you want 7. You don't want 3.
I want to see. I don't play Madden anymore. I don't play Madden anymore. But I want to see a team in Madden who
we saw it a couple.
Who plays like the Browns? Run, throw. Run, throw. I want to see.
I go up, that's what happens.
But I want to see a team in Madden that does that from the start to the finish. You can't, right? Because
they're not really
someone will pick you
now.
apart.
Yeah, they're not really doing that now. You're throwing 40-plus times a game.
Okay, let me take the Browns out of that conversation. Because, let's go to Ryan's argument, one of the best, most 50-50 teams in the NFL. Probably the Niners.
Yeah.
Right? Run, throw. Run, throw. That's not how they do it, but for the case of argument.
Let's use them as an example.
For the case of argument, that's probably it. Same with Seattle.
Yeah.
Consistently running the ball.
Seattle.
You don't do that in Madden, right? And those are guess who that is? Old school coach. Seattle, old school coach. Shanahan is an old school coach.
Pete Carroll, old school.
Yep.
Washington, Ron Rivera, he does it every now and again.
Doug Peterson utilizes ETN and Tank Bigsby constantly. I mean, just look at the old school coaches and the way they're coaching. Look at the new school coaches. Sling it, Minnesota.
Colts.
Jordan Love.
Colts.
That's an old school coach. Steichen's an old school coach. They run the ball. But when they do...
Steelers. Old school coach.
Yes. Old school coach.
Run, pass. Run, pass.
Yep. But I would also argue they just can't pass. But yeah, no, I agree.
That's a good example.
I agree.
I'm going to have to go... I would love to go through and look at the attempts for rushing per game out of these teams and see.
Oh, I had it up for the longest time.
That is not a bad example of. I don't hate that.
It's there's a website. I used to know it. It was an analytical website that I had saved because I went over this argument about who runs and like the Ravens are kind of the same concept, but they're not as balanced as like the Browns and the Niners, and Philly was that way with Steichen there, and that's the reason why Philly's struggling because they.
I mean, we're not.
Hey, Bo wants to talk crap. Bears Browns. I'm
you
sure,
have to wait.
I'm sure he does. Tell him to get in the chat. I don't have the Bluetooth thing, or I would put you live on air. It wouldn't bother me, but I don't really have a mic to kind of put you in. And I'm really poor at setting up conferencing because I haven't.
We didn't even turn on the lights today. I completely forgot to turn on.
Yeah, it's fine. The lighting's not bad. It's just I got to figure out conferencing still, and I don't have anybody really here to help me. It's me doing graphics and everything, and then it's Wheels doing one thumbnail, and then he does all of his research. So I just got flipped off apparently for calling Wheels out. But let's get into it then.
Hey, I'm still here.
Let's get into it then. How about we just jump right into it?
Let's go.
We'll jump right into it. We'll go Chicago Bears in Cleveland.
Bears.
If he wants to talk shit, here it is.
You guys are going to the game. Nice.
Yeah, they are going to the game today. So I know they'll be happy. Oh, he's driving. How about this? You translate for his speaking. See how fast you can text, Kelly. So
that always works out.
So one thing the Browns are good at is stopping a running quarterback.
I don't think so.
The only thing they're bad at
is stopping a running quarterback.
Stopping anything running up the middle of the field.
Which is a running quarterback.
Maybe. Especially with Hurst not being there.
Like I talked about with you and my brothers, my biggest worry today is stopping Justin Fields on the ground.
That's not mine. JOK is going to be spying him all day.
That doesn't matter. I anticipate Justin Fields to have 80 rushing yards and touchdowns.
It's
going to be bad.
Here's how I image Justin Fields.
There's going to be a lot of third and shorts where Justin he just rolls out and goes.
Steps onto that field, right? And then you see this.
Myles Garrett.
9 sacks.
Matter.
Justin's like,
doesn't matter.
He can't. All he's thinking about is last time I was here, I got sacked 9 times on my rookie debut.
I get it, but Browns fans, we have a tendency of doing this.
I don't think it matters. I don't think Delpit's a good situation. Delpit's out though, isn't he?
Delpit is out. Yeah, Delpit's out with a pec injury.
Delpit's out for the year.
Yeah.
I think Delpit I don't know if he tore his pec. You went to that game too.
There's so many injuries. Sorry.
You saw Justin Fields sacked 9 times.
Did you see the Browns' new who's the new stadium holder for the Browns stadium? Who's got naming rights? Cleveland Clinic.
I'm fine with that. Homegrown.
It's a joke. Freaking.
They're sponsored by UH. But they're sponsored by UH. It didn't make sense.
Sorry.
You picked the wrong one, bro.
I'm saying we're a freaking hospital with all these injuries. Yeah. You know, 24% of our roster is injured. 24.
We're not in the
most in the NFL.
We're not in Buffalo. Your wambulance joke.
Wambulance. I should make a wave.
All right, so yes, I agree, Kelly. There's a whole bunch of injuries out there for the Browns today, and I think that's obviously why a lot of people probably have a slight.
Thornhill's out.
I think they have a. What are the odds today? Do you remember?
I think the Bears are getting 3.
Is it 3 or 1.5? 2.5.
So 3.
2.5.
Tease that up. Do not take 2.5.
I don't know how to tease.
You can. You just go into bet slip and you put tease.
All right. So 2.5.
Hey, if you go to Bet365, the apps I use exclusively, you're getting half a point.
But I would argue who's the backup. Flacco once Sweat takes him out. Well, that won't happen. Flacco is way too experienced before he gets hit.
Now Montez Sweat isn't going to take. They're going to leave an extra lineman in.
No, they won't. I'm not even worried about that. Montez Sweat. So here's the thing. Montez Sweat's good against bad O lines. Our backup O line's still better than most O lines.
They're better than the Steelers O line.
They're better than most O lines. ST Law. So here's what I'll say is yes, the Browns or the Bears will probably run all over the Browns.
This is going to be we have to.
But you can't score unless you can get over top. And I still think you're going to struggle getting over top. Denzel Ward's healthy. Greg Newsome's healthy. Emerson's healthy. Like, those guys are still playing.
Thornhill out.
That's fine. I'm not worried about that. So
Aronquo out.
Now, here's what I'm excited for today, right? Because this is a tough game with the injuries.
What was the guy that you said you were excited for yesterday?
Siaki Ika.
Friday.
Siaki Ika. The kid, I can't remember what school he came out of. I want to say...
It wasn't you, was it?
No. Big school. Is it Clemson? Or Oregon? I can't remember. It might have been Oregon.
Baylor.
Okay. Green and gold.
Taylor from Baylor.
Denzel's playing.
Denzel will play.
Yeah, Denzel's playing. He full practice all week. I'm pretty sure.
I think last day he did.
Oh, did they hold him out in the last practice? But so here's what I'll say. Chicago is trending up, right? Team's looking good, very good. Eberflus is starting to coach a somewhat coherent offense, and DJ Moore will probably have a decent day. But they still got to go up against that front, and Justin Fields is going to be running for his life, and he's going to be running away from DJ Moore. That's the struggle, and he can't hit anybody when he runs away from DJ Moore, and that's what I see in this game. Do I see this as a blowout? No.
It's going to be a 6-point game.
Maybe. This might be another we accidentally miss a field goal kick and win with a field goal. So it could be literally like the Ravens game where we end up winning, what was it, like 32 to 29 or something like that? No, it's 32-31 because we missed the extra point.
Yeah, 32-31.
Yeah, so it could end up being that way.
So I'm going to take the Browns 22-16.
I'll go 28-27 Brown. I don't know why I like 28. Let's go 27-24 Browns. I don't know why I like 28 so much.
What was it? 20 what?
27-24 Browns.
27-24, okay.
Obviously, Bo's taking the Bears. I do think Sweat's going to probably eat some today. I don't disagree with that.
Sweat will get a sack and a half.
But let's be honest, you're not playing against a guy who holds the ball. Joe Flacco knows to throw the ball away.
And that's also, he does throw it 40 times a game, but I would say about 8 of those are throwaways a game?
Also, how good is Joe Flacco in December? Because I'll tell you right now, Joe Flacco, when he gets to this time of the year, he loves slinging the ball. And it's a windy, cold day. Justin Fields has not been accurate. I would argue that Joe Flacco has the one up on this. If we had to talk about who's got the better quarterback and who has the better defensive ends and who has the better corners, I would say it's Cleveland all around with all of those, even with the injuries.
Joe Flacco in the month of December through his career has a passer rating of 84.4.
That's bad.
8,868 yards, 65 touchdowns, and 35 interceptions in 41 career games in the month of December.
That's not good. All right, Jerome Ford could eat today. It could be a good day for Jerome Ford.
I told you this. I know they have the second best run defense, but the key to victory for the Browns is you have to win on the ground today.
I don't disagree.
You have to win. You have to have at least 120
Actually, you know where
yards.
I think the key to win for the Browns today is the check down. It's at the tight end.
We hate the check down, though, because the check down we've been intercepted on 3 times.
Not this check down. This check down.
So, okay.
The one in the middle of the field that sits there and
So,
waits for you like
not
Kareem
screen,
Hunt.
So not the screen check
No.
down.
No.
I was about to say.
Not the designed play that Stefanski loves to run on the opening drive of every game. Chicago, pick it off!
Twice. Or was it 3 times that it's been a pick six this year?
It doesn't matter. It's stupid. It's stupid.
Tell me how you really feel,
It's
KJ.
predictable.
Well, if we're predicting it, I'm pretty sure NFL coaches and film rooms can predict it. So if Stefanski throws it on the opening drive and it's a pick six, just prepare for a
And
loss.
do not throw it to...
Your third.
I can't remember his name because I don't know why he's out there as much as he is. You have Harrison Bryant and David Njoku. Throw it to those guys. Please. I don't even care if the team's projecting it at that point because what you're going to do is those guys are just better. Aiken?
Jordan Atkins.
Atkins.
Is that who?
Is that it?
I don't know.
Akins. See, I was close.
Jordan Akins.
I said it as you typed it over here.
Akins.
So
Correct.
yeah.
Correct.
I just don't understand that play call. It's going to be a tough game. With the injuries for the Browns, it's going to be a tough game because Chicago's looking good.
It's going to be like an AFC North game. I know the Bears are in the NFC North, but it's going to be a ground and pound, wet game, windy, 10 to 50 mile an hour winds.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco's played in that weather. Justin Fields, another guy who's played in the weather.
I would probably argue both of these teams have more running yards than passing yards.
The
today.
better defense will win.
Did you hear me? Both these teams have more rushing yards than passing yards today.
Kind of like the Niners game from last year.
Was there a Niners game that
Or
last
what
year?
was the it was a,
Patriots Jets game?
what was
When
the game?
they threw the ball like for like 60 total yards combined?
Yeah,
that was pretty ugly.
That's it. Yeah. Never mind.
Great take on what?
I said the better defense will win.
Well, then that obviously goes to Cleveland.
Not no.
Cleveland has the best passing defense in the league.
The better
even
defense
with the
will win in
injuries.
the game. It doesn't matter. It comes down to the game.
Oh, we're calling it for the game.
Yes,
Oh.
the game.
Okay, thank Captain Obvious. Thanks, Captain Obvious. Horrible take, Wheels. Kelly, don't agree with him. All right, moving on from there. We'll get into the next one. Oh, we didn't give our score. We did give our score.
Yeah, we did give our
Okay, we did give our
got,
scores.
Giants, Saints.
Oh, sure. We'll go Giants Saints. Let's talk garbage. Garbage.
Well, we might as well
garbage.
get it.
Okay,
Just rip it off
garbage.
like a bandit. Okay, so
All
real quick, Tommy DeVito and Danny DeVito, his father, will be in New York, in New Orleans, taking on the Saints. This is just an ugly game. It's the ugly duckling of the NFL.
So here's what I'll say. Taysom Hill's healthy.
When they utilize Taysom Hill, I believe they have a winning record
Yes.
when he has a touchdown.
Is Shaheed healthy is my only question.
I believe Shaheed was a full participant in practice this week, from what I read.
All right.
I have
So
on
if
my-
Shaheed and
big
Taysom
money
Hill
league.
are active and in this game, Saints win 24-18.
I'm taking the Giants.
I agree. Tommy DeVito's playing like
Give me DeVito.
I don't even know what he's playing. Like, let's say Tommy DeVito's playing like Nick Foles. That sound good?
I don't hate it.
I think that's what he's playing like. So
Giants win 17-10.
yeah, there's no way that the Saints only score 10. No way. But that's fine. That's your take.
Who are you taking and what score?
I Saints 20. I think I said 24-18. Might have been 21-18. I don't remember now.
24-18.
24-18 Saints.
All right, well, we'll go
Now
back.
stardom's in this game. You might not like it.
Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley. Saquon.
I like the
Barkley.
take because that's probably better than Wheels' 10. But I agree.
Eat a dick. Save note. Save note. What?
What's a save note? I don't know. Save note. I don't know what that means.
Excuse me?
I don't know. You said Kamara, Saquon. Bo says Saints by a million. I don't know if I put $1 million on that.
I put $2,000 on the Chiefs not making that one in the Super Bowl.
He tried to talk to text and it said save note.
That's technology. Yeah, let's go.
Oh man, they'll be predicting the future. I agree with you, Bo. So stardoms in this game, I think you have to start Olave, right? Healthy.
Who
I
do you
think
start at quarterback?
You have to start Kamara. Derek Carr is playing. I think
start
this
Tommy
is
over
a
Carr.
stardom. This is a stardom week for Taysom Hill. And then I also do like starting Tommy DeVito in this game.
I would start Tommy over.
Tommy DeVito has played
Derek Carr.
well. I just don't know if he's played well enough against good defenses.
And Tommy DeVito is playing well with mid-level wide receivers.
I disagree with that statement all the time. I think
They
they
don't have wide
I think they have a
receivers.
lot of talent at wide receiver on that team.
No.
They just haven't been incapable of. I think their play calling's horrible. It's horrible.
Well, then it's been horrible for like 5 years.
Yes, it has. They cannot. They're like the Steelers.
They need Marvin
They
Harrison.
cannot find anybody.
But I don't want Marvin Harrison going there.
All right.
If Marvin Harrison's going to go to any team,
Getting out of
Chicago.
the wastelands of the country, which is New Orleans, and moving on to
you
it.
just came out and said it.
No, it is the wastelands of the
I
country.
thought
I mean,
Florida
it's
was the
where-
armpit of the country.
no, New Orleans.
What do you shit there all the time when I go?
Atlanta going into Carolina. Can Bryce Young get his second win of the week or year?
Yes, I do.
His second win of the week, just stepping on the field.
Yeah, I do. I do think the Gnome gets his second win.
The gnome. That's ridiculous.
I'm sorry, I had to. It was just.
Desmond Ridder has like the second most rushing touchdowns in the NFL.
But he also has like.
I'm just telling you
I
guys
think he
that.
has 11 interceptions and 9 fumbles.
Yeah, I'm just telling you
That
guys.
is bad. You have 20 turnovers, and I think he's one to.
Stardoms today, not Drake London.
Chuba Hubbard.
I said Drake London was phenomenal last week, and I hit it.
This pass defense.
This pass defense is pretty good. I say Drake London. I mean, if you're looking for 10 to 12, you can start him. I don't think you're getting 25
He's
out
like
of
a
him.
flex too, right?
Yeah, this week I think he's a flex. I don't know about a flex too. Flex.
Okay.
I don't know if I would start him if you have better options. Now, Bijan, start him. Tyler Algier. They got to feed Bijan. They got to feed Bijan.
Yeah.
Jonnu Smith.
I think you start both Pitts and Jonnu Smith.
Pitts and
Because
Jonnu? I agree.
I think, like you said, the secondary. So linebacking is where you're
Underneath. Yeah.
some seam routes over the middle. You're
And
gonna hit those.
You might be able to start Desmond just for the rushing upside, but
Matt Collins?
That's about it. Who?
Matt Collins.
I'm not ready to start Matt Collins still.
Okay.
I still think I would start Drake London over Matt Collins.
All right, and then Chuba Hubbard, I would start. Adam Thielen, I would start. John
I
Mingo.
would start Miles Sanders, and I'm benching him. But I would start Miles in this game because if they go up,
Start Mingo. Start Mingo.
is Mingo a start him?
Start Mingo.
All right. I'm not going to say no. I think he's getting better.
I think
week
Mingo
in,
has
week
a
out.
career game.
But I know
he hasn't played well. I
think
think he puts up like 18 today.
I like that take. I like Adam Thielen again. They're gonna sling the rock.
But
they
Adam
have to
Thielen
get up.
he's been struggling the last few weeks.
I like Thielen.
I do too.
Just because of production on the field, like he gets 8 to 10 targets minimum. So that's opportunity right there.
Do you start Tommy Tremble? Tight end.
I know who he is. No.
I like him.
No, I've seen other tight ends this year.
Okay.
That I'd
All right,
prefer over him.
so let's go score. I'm gonna go 21-14.
21-14.
Carolina.
I'm gonna say just pulled in, so we're signing off. Go Brownies, baby!
Go Browns.
Chicago, I hope you guys make it competitive enough to that you don't lose Justin Fields. That being said, I'd take Atlanta in. I'll take Atlanta 21-20.
Ooh, so you have a missing a field goal.
No, not a million points ever.
That was Kelly. You see how there was no bow?
Yeah, I said no hyphenated bow. She has to because she's starting Justin Fields, and she benched Jared Goff. And you benched Deontay Johnson.
Oof, that's like 60 points. That's a big.
That was 60 points. And guess who she's playing against?
You.
No, she plays against Jules, who started T. Higgins and
Jacoby.
No, her backup running back is
Ty Chandler, Zamir White.
Oh no! It was a tight end.
Michael Mayer,
Hawkinson,
Sam Laporta. Okay, so all right. Sorry.
T. Higgins and Hawkinson's. I think that was like 45 or 50 points right there.
My wife always asks.
T.J. Hawk. Yep. So it's gonna be fun for her. She's got a battle ahead.
My wife, she was sitting there, and I was just naming all the players watching football. She's like, "How do you know all these guys?" I'm like, "Well, you."
Kelly, are you rooting for Justin Fields to outperform the Browns if you win?
No.
To win your fantasy game.
How much money's on the line?
700.
Yes.
I think.
Sorry, but yes, I'm a Browns fan through and through. But if it's $700, I gotta root for fantasy.
I think it's
over
700. Yeah, I'd prefer high-scoring game. Browns win. I
Come
also
on,
agree.
Justin Fields going 50 points, but Browns winning by like 3. Let's go. That's what she's.
Our playoffs ended hilariously, by the way. It's my sister and my dad on one side of the bracket, and the winner of that game plays me.
So let me ask you: was anybody affected by the Jared Goff fumble that lost playoff footing?
I don't know what you mean.
So Jared Goff had a late adjustment where it was -2 points for Week 14.
No.
Okay, so it didn't.
No,
affect
it's
anybody.
her. That's her player.
There was
She's
a guy,
had him on the bench for like 2 weeks.
I follow a Facebook group, and a guy lost. He got snubbed out of the playoffs because of that adjustment.
I believe it.
That hurts.
I believe it. All right, moving on from here. Yeah, moving on from here, we are going to get into another game that we said was going to be a contentious game. Tampa Bay, and by the way, Atlanta, if they win that game and the Saints lose and Tampa Bay loses, Tampa Bay is now in second.
They're 500. Yay!
Is in second, and Atlanta would be in 1. But this is going to be a tough game. I get it is in Green Bay. What is Green Bay Stadium called? Lambeau Field?
Lambeau
Jesus.
Field.
I get it's in
Yeah.
Lambeau, but Mike Evans is going to have a field day today. That's fine. That's fine. This is going to be
That's
one
how
of the...
Packers fans are going to feel.
Oh, I thought you were making fun of me.
No. I think Mike Evans. Mike Evans hit 1,000 yards. He's just, hey, look at me. I'm getting paid next year because the Buccaneers aren't going to.
I think what's going to happen here right now. Now, Green Bay's favored by 3.5, and that's probably a good line because they're at home, and I think they're slightly better than most expect. But, huge caveat in this game. The over-under is 42.5. I slam the over on this game. I will tell you right now, it's Tampa Bay because I don't know if Green Bay has the ability to stop Baker when he's ever doubted. And that's going to be a tough one. Did you just toot?
Yep, I did.
Really?
I'm sorry.
You hit the mute button. You
I'm
have
sorry.
the mics. My goodness.
Did you just... Here, hold on.
You just leaned over. You could have done that. Anything. But so I think that Mike Evans does have a big day. I hope. Actually, it doesn't matter to me.
Now, Mike Evans will. I also think that Jane Reed has a big game today.
I don't disagree. I think Jordan Love's going to have another great day today.
Jordan Love is missing a bell cow back in Aaron Jones.
Oh, you think? Actually, I don't know. So here, let me take this back for a second because you know me, I'm not an A.J. Dillon fan. Not at all.
Me neither.
But you know what makes a good running back better? A good pass game.
It's a compliment. Yeah, you're not wrong.
So I think A.J. Dillon is showing some production because they've had to take off a little bit and play more of a prevent style defense because Jordan Love's been slinging it. So I think it opens up some holes for the running back. And that's why A.J. Dillon has some upside. Stardoms in this game: Mike Evans, Rashad White, Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed.
Yep, I agree with all those, yes.
Okay. Do we start Musgrave? Is he back? No, he's still on IR.
No, I don't
Tucker
think
Kraft.
no.
No.
Nope.
Okay. K. Dotton?
Nope. I don't start any tight ends in this game. I don't like it.
Linebacker core is too good for you?
Yep,
Okay.
both sides.
I don't disagree with that. I'm going to take this as a close game. I'm going to go 27-27 overtime.
I'm going 27-21.
30 Tampa Bay with the better kicker. So 30-27 in overtime. Tampa Bay. Which, by the way, that's a close-ass game.
If you hit that, you get 2 points.
Why do the overtime?
Yeah.
You giving me bonuses for hitting overtime games?
If you call it, you get 2 points. But you're only allowed to call one overtime a week.
What if there's 5?
Then after that, you lose point. You lose half.
just for calling it every time.
Yeah.
Overtime.
There's got to be a caveat. Can you grab me a Canada Dry?
What?
Can you grab me a Canada Dry?
Are you throat dry?
Yeah.
Yeah, why did my wife not
Duncan.
get you hot chocolate
It's
yet?
fine.
What is going on?
It's fine.
Wait, your mouth's dry and you want Canada Dry?
I like ginger ale.
See, dry on dry? I don't know.
Dry
Is that
on
how that
dry.
works? All right, moving on from here, getting out of the Tampa Bay game, which I think there's a lot of implications in that game because if Green Bay wins, they solidify a spot in that playoff
Then you
bracket.
have 2 teams in that division at 7-7. Right
Yep, it's gonna be fun to
Detroit.
watch. All right, now it gets spicy. We have
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers, who is cleared to play, but He's not going to play today against the Miami Dolphins. Going into Miami, the Jets are playing Tyreek Hill. We have no idea yet if he's in or out. He is a pre-workout away from activating himself, essentially. It's his choice if he wants to play. I think Tyreek Hill will play because he wants the record before 16 games. And I think this is going to be tough for the New York Jets. But the Jets know how to stop Tyreek Hill.
All right, so you're going to hate me. I don't think Tyreek plays.
That's fine.
I don't think Tyreek plays.
I don't have to hate you. I'd like to hate you.
Start him, sit hims. Obviously, you're starting Garrett Wilson. I would start Tyler Conklin. I would start Breece Hall. Miami side, you start Jalen Waddle. I would start both. Oh my God. Raheem Mostert and what's their other running back?
Achan.
And Tua. Tight ends for the Miami Dolphins. Do you start them? Is that Smythe?
Yeah. Durham Smythe?
Do you start Durham Smythe?
No.
Okay.
No. I would start Conklin over Smythe.
Okay. I'm taking the Jets 24-21 in this game. Because we saw what happens with the Miami's team when Tyreek is not on the field. He is the MVP of the league. I'm sorry. Tyreek Hill is the MVP.
He did return in that game, though.
Yeah, but you got to look at the future. You can't look at this game.
No, Tyreek has 2 years left. He does not have to look at the future. All he cares about is breaking a record.
No, I'm talking about the team.
It's Tyreek's decision.
Is it?
Yeah. They came up and look, watch. Miami Dolphins plan to allow Pro Bowl wide receiver Tyreek Hill to determine whether he can play with his ankle injury on Sunday against the Jets.
So then he plays. I don't think he should, but I think if that's up to it, he's going to play.
Tyreek Hill has he's got a Super Bowl. He's probably going to go down as probably a top 10 wide receiver of all time. It'll be close. It'll be close, right?
Give me this record, yes.
If he breaks the record, he is.
Yeah. He's a first ballot Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Right.
This game matters, especially if he does it in 16 games.
If not, they're going to have the little asterisks on the side.
Now, my only thought process here, and I don't know if I have like 75 windows up. I don't know if I can find Sleeper this fast. Where's his stat line sitting?
Hold on.
I hit the wrong button. Now I'm going to throw down my whole computer. Oh, what a stupid move. Here it is. Wide receiver. Tyreek. Why'd you mute me?
I was trying to unmute myself. 17.74.
I hate that you did that because I had it up.
I win.
17.74. What does that mean?
Projected points.
No, what does that have to do with his total yards?
I thought you said what he was projected.
No, his total yards. Where's he at yardage-wise?
Total yards, he's at 1,542. 97 receptions.
So he has 3 games to make an additional 500 yards. That's going to be tough. He has to have this game. He's playing. He's playing.
That's 150 yards a game.
Yep, he's playing.
It's not going to happen.
He's
I hope
playing.
it does.
I'm not saying it is going to happen, but he's playing. He's playing. Because even if, right, so he has to still make over 110 yards a game in 4 games to break the record.
Yeah.
He's playing.
And who has the record? CJ? Is that Johnson? Yeah, it's Chad Johnson.
Is it Chad Johnson? It's been so long since I've actually looked that record
Cooper
up.
came close last year, but he didn't break it.
Yeah, but it was 17 games again. See, like, this is why...
40, I think it was 40 yards short. People forget what just a beast Chad Johnson was. Or not Chad Johnson, I'm sorry, Calvin Johnson. Oh my God. Chad Johnson. No, Calvin Johnson. Sorry.
I think it's Calvin Johnson.
It's Calvin Johnson. I don't know why I said Chad Johnson.
1964.
Yeah.
2012. And then Cooper was still 17 yards away from breaking
17, sorry. I thought
and then Julio Jones is over 100 yards behind that. So, Calvin Johnson was a monster, and he also had Matt Stafford, who was a gunslinger. Mm-hmm. So, compare those two. I'll tell you right now, if Tyreek Hill had Matt Stafford, he might break it in a single season.
Matt Stafford was probably the greatest quarterback to come out of Georgia, though.
I don't know all quarterbacks, but I wouldn't disagree with that. I mean, he's pretty solid. Now, Tyreek Hill plays. Okay, back into the game.
No,
I apologize.
Tyreek does play.
Jalen
If
Waddle.
it's up to him, he does play.
Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, they're both going to have good games. The only problem with Tyreek, right? I don't think anybody's going to let Tyreek break this record. So I know he wants it. I don't think anybody's going to let him break the record.
You will.
Jalen Waddle's going to have probably a consistent, if not better, game than Tyreek Hill this week because
I have about 80 yards.
they're
for
going to
touchdown.
bracket the hell out of Tyreek Hill.
You're going to blanket him.
Yep.
Cornerback safety.
Yep.
All day long.
That's what's going to happen.
You're going to keep him. You're going to keep him in a lid.
I definitely think you can start Garrett Wilson. You start Tyreek. You start Jalen. You start Breece Hall.
You start Conklin.
You start Conklin. I think you have to start Mostert.
No, you start both.
Red zone
You
wise,
start both
you have to start Mostert.
and Achane or Achane.
HN. And then I think that's Tua. Got to start Tua. Now, Zach Wilson had a phenomenal week last week, right? Against a good defense.
That was probably his best game of.
No, it was his best game. He threw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
So that just shows you he can do it. I think it's confidence.
Can he do it again with Jalen Ramsey?
Yeah, I think he can.
All right, so then I think Zach Wilson is a start this week.
It's confidence.
I think Zach Wilson's a start this week. Now, the only issue, right, is the O-line for the Jets.
Well, so I don't want to get back into this, but I'm
just saying for starting purposes of Zach Wilson, is the O-line going to be a factor? Is Bradley Chubb going to be in his face all day?
It's been a factor since the second snap of the year for when frickin' Aaron Rodgers went down.
Have they gotten better?
No, they've
Okay.
gotten. They
All right.
haven't. They're neutral.
So I think if you're going to start Zach Wilson, it's not going to be in the playoffs. So no, he's not a start him.
But at the same time, Zach Wilson isn't the issue.
No, I'm not. No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying for fantasy purposes.
Oh,
for fantasy
I'm
purposes,
sorry.
can I start Zach?
No,
He's not a stardom. There's 15 other quarterbacks.
I
easily.
think.
I don't disagree with you. I'm
Well,
not.
The problem is you've had 8
Six
plays.
backups. 6 backups. Remember?
You've had 8 plays. 6 of those were stardoms, right? Outside of Nick Mullins and Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah.
Right? 6 of those were starters.
Yeah. So
Jake Browning,
so I'm not starting.
Gardner Minshew. No, I don't start Zach Wilson.
Okay. All right.
This game,
Okay.
if
I agree with you.
I have the Jets winning 24-21, but
It's not because of It's not because of Zach
The
Wilson.
victory is running on the ground. You have to win on the ground against Miami.
All right. I like that take.
And Breece Hall has to have at least 125 total yards and at least 1 touchdown, if not 2.
So I'm going to disagree with you on the Jets winning, even though I think the storyline's better if the Jets
So you're
win.
taking Miami.
I think I'm going to take Miami. I could see an upset here. I 100% could see an upset here.
There's a few games like the Browns game. It scares the shit out of me, man.
But I'm going to take Miami for. I'm going to take a bounce back game, 28-17.
28-17.
Yeah, I'm going to take Miami for the bounce back win. The line in that game. Where did you go?
The line in that game is probably going to be.
Why am I not
7.
seeing it? Oh, it's up here. 8.5. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So I actually took them to cover. Miami's offenses are so good, they don't expect the Jets to be able to score, and Miami's defense has gotten better. Now, we all know that with Tyreek Hill not on the field, that's an issue. But
Without a doubt.
and I think he will be limited. But when he's out there, it's going to be productive, is my point. You're going to scheme him to have the yak and not to be open on the field.
I think with this injury, you're going to be able to cap him and keep him in a bottle, which, like I said, your safety, you're going to keep a safety. I think you're going to play a safety. I don't want to say nickel corner, but...
No, you're going to keep a safety over top. You're going to spy Tyreek Hill and let Jalen Waddle go one-on-one, but I think that's dangerous.
Well, it is dangerous. I think Sauce will be with Tyreek all day long.
And Tua is capable of seeing the open man. He's not a bad quarterback.
No, Tua is not a bad quarterback. He can throw it deep. He's accurate. That's not the... But if we want to talk about wide receivers that make quarterbacks, Tyreek is it.
100%. All right, moving on here. Houston going into Tennessee, playing Tennessee with a 5-8 record.
Some injuries. Obviously,
C.J. Stroud out. Nico Collins out. Tank Dell out.
Nico Collins is questionable but doubtful.
No, Nico Collins is out. They announced it yesterday.
Oh, okay, I did not see that. I'm sorry.
He did not practice, and he is out for Sunday's game.
All right.
Nico Collins out.
No,
Now,
you're right. I'm sorry. That's why I started having a year over
is
him.
Noah Brown out? Is my question.
I don't think it matters.
Okay. Then you tell me what your thought process is in this game.
So you have Case Keenum, who you said was drafted by Houston, who I said no, he wasn't, and you proved me wrong, which I thought for some reason in my dumb mind of mine, I thought he was drafted by Washington, but I confused him with Kirk Cousins.
That's understandable. I'm not going to.
But they both played for the Vikings and Washington, so I guess that makes sense. But
Sure.
So I think this is a Will Levis comfortability game. He's going to come back out, 275 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception. Derrick Henry, I think, has 2 touchdowns. And
You're taking Tennessee, aren't you?
all day long I'm taking Tennessee.
Damn it. So am I.
Give me Mayo Man.
I agree with you. I'm taking Tennessee.
I have to. It's nothing against DeMeco Ryan. It's nothing against the Texans. But
Case Keenum's not going to be able to get out of that pocket.
C.J. Stroud makes that team flow. He is the heart of that team.
I agree.
And obviously, I mean, you're taking away his arms with Tank Dell out, Nico Collins out.
Dalton Schultz is healthy, though.
Yeah, that's huge. I did see that, but I don't. Dalton Schultz, start him. If he's, you have to.
I think Dalton
Him
Schultz.
and Noah Brown are the only 2 targets for
Brevin Jordan. I think Dalton Schultz, Brevin Jordan, and Noah Brown are the 3 targets. What's the other guy? Robert Woods.
Xavier Hutchinson calling it 200 yards, 5 touchdowns. Let's go. Just kidding.
Robert Woods is the number 1.
Yes.
Xavier Hutchinson will be the number 2.
Noah Brown with 3.
Target. Noah Brown will still be the 3rd wide receiver, targeted wise.
I hope Xavier has a big game, and it's not just because what Ryan said. The kid has the ability to, but again, Houston, it's another team that just has a stacked wide receiver. John Mechie, another guy who we haven't talked a lot about this year.
Well, I think Mechie is Jameson Williams right now. Both those guys were overhyped in the draft. I know Mechie was dealing with medical issues. This is technically.
I'm happy he's back. I'm happy he's
This
healthy.
is technically his first year, right,
Yes.
of technically being healthy.
And you got to remember, the kid's coming back from leukemia. So it's
Right.
let it go and playing in the NFL first year coming back off leukemia. It's
I'm not
even
judging
harder.
the man. Not judging the man.
I think
I'm
he
just
has the talent.
his role wise is Jameson Williams to me.
Yeah.
Now funny. Actually, I'll go back to that. So now here's what I see. I agree. I actually cannot agree with you more.
Okay.
I think everything you just said with Tennessee is probably going to come into fruition. I think Derrick Henry, DeAndre Hopkins, Nick Westbrook-Akine, all of these guys are going to have good games. Chig's going to have a good game. I actually like Chig.
Chig was involved last game quite a bit.
I like Chig as a stardom again this week.
I know it didn't show it on the stat line, but
he's involved every week. The problem is the receptions, right? He's not he's getting targeted.
He just drops them.
He drops them, and he drops them in key situations.
Get that man some stickum.
But that's why I like Josh Wiley, because Wiley's the backup, right? So I think Wiley might have the opportunity next year to take over Chig's role.
He definitely he could. Good.
So I definitely like you. Obviously, you start Hop. Will Levis, I think you kind of have to start at this point, right? You have a banged up now. Houston's got a good secondary, but it's Will Levis's ability to stretch the play is what makes him dangerous as a quarterback. And I've noticed that with Josh Allen. You noticed that with Mahomes.
I hate to say it this early because I didn't compare him to this quarterback, but he's a light version of Josh Allen.
Everybody compared him to Josh Allen. That was
I didn't.
Everybody
did.
I
compared Hendon Hooker to Josh Allen.
So, no, Hendon, no. Okay, well, that's for another day. That is definitely for another day. But we won't know until ever we see Hendon Hooker on the field and Jared Goff blows the lead.
Don't judge me.
All right, moving on from here. Tennessee score. What do you got score?
I have 28-14.
I'll take 24.
I said 2 touchdowns passing.
I'll take 24-17, Tennessee.
24-17?
Yeah, okay. 24-17. Tennessee's actually favored by 3.5.
They're giving. Yeah, because the C.J. Stroud injury. That's why.
Yep.
And they're at home. So essentially, wow. So they only see C.J. Stroud as a 1.5 point difference. Because at home, you get 1.5 regardless.
2, but it's 3.5. So 2 point.
That's. Okay.
Well, it's not him, right?
It's him.
It's Nico. It's him. It's Tank Dell.
Yeah,
so their entire wide receiver core is out. So I think if even half of those guys are in, it's a wash.
The fact that Houston. Okay.
I'm just saying.
That's a weird line.
All right, moving on to the next game. Kansas City going into New England in a top 8 defense in the NFL. Can Patrick Mahomes sustain his ability to stay in the lead in his division? Yes, because Denver lost. Go ahead.
No.
But Denver lost, so even if he loses this week,
Give
they're
me
still
the
in first.
Patriots.
This is one of those games, man. This is a hard game for Kansas City.
That whole Kansas City Chiefs team is emotional from the loss that the refs screwed them on last week.
Does this solidify who the better coach is in the NFL?
I'm happy you brought it up because I was about to say Bill Belichick.
If Bailey Zapp goes and beats Patrick Mahomes, does Bill Belichick go down as the better coach of
Bill
all
Belichick
time?
is always. There's no doubt Bill Belichick is the better coach. I don't care.
A lot of people will argue that. I won't.
For their ages, you got to remember.
10 years older.
Reed's been with 2 teams. As a head coach,
Bill's been with 2 teams.
Three technically.
If you go the Ravens.
No, Jets. He never coached the game, but he was a coach. He lost in one of the Patriots.
Okay.
The Browns, head coach.
I know he's the Browns Patriots. I didn't know about
so
Jets.
Technically 3, I'm sorry. I guess I was going to say they both played for 2, but I know you had Tom Brady. I know you have Patrick Mahomes. Everybody's already comparing them, but coach-wise, I know I sit there and I judge Bill very heavily, but I think this team is this is going to be it's going to be like the Browns game. Just on the ground, whoever wins. I think you're going to have some trouble.
I got a fun graphic for you. All right. Now, that's a good conversation. This is the last of the 1 o'clock games.
And it's
Going into the last of the 1 o'clock games, there's a conversation that needs to be had this year. And this conversation that needs to be had is quarterbacks' worth. The top 10 paid quarterbacks, now I only have 8 on this graphic. 1 was injured all year. Don't think it's worth talking about. And I think the 10th isn't even a conversation to have. Moving into this, I'm going to give you a graphic. And I want you to tell me whether or not you believe some of these guys are worth it or if they're a bust for the money.
Okay.
Okay. So, are you ready for this?
As ready as I'm ever going to be.
All right. Here's the graphic.
Oh, wow. Hold on.
So, you have Jalen Hurts, $255 million in his contract. He's played 13 games this year, 19-10, touchdown interception, 3192 yards. Right next to him is Patrick Mahomes at $450 million over his contract. Now, it's a 10-year, so it's twice as much. So, Jalen Hurts is making more money per year. Games 13, touchdown interceptions 23-11 with 3,398 yards.
So, I'm going to start. Can I have caveats?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is a worth conversation.
So let's start from the bottom. Russell Wilson.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Russell Wilson, yes, I do think he's worth the money. You can judge me off
24-8, 220. I mean, he's literally has the best TD interception ratio on that board.
Just Deshaun Watson, as a Browns fan, it's hard for me to say yes, and it's even harder for me to say no. But I'm
at this point, he's overpaid.
He's over. I'm gonna have to say
we're not gonna like.
He's not. I can't dance around it anymore. Right?
To be unbiased, right?
To be unbiased, he's not worth the money. But I'm gonna say the same for Joe Burrow. He's injury prone.
At this point,
he's everything I said Lamar Jackson was, but worse. But I think Lamar Jackson's worth the money. I do.
That's
good
to hear.
I think he's worth the money. You look at some of the other quarterbacks, and the way they're 10-3, and on the other side you have. All of them don't even have 10 wins. None of the teams on the right side have the 10 wins. The only team that has 10 wins is right above him, Jalen Hurts.
That's funny. I actually didn't even know that I did that. I did not know that I did it in that order. That's freaking hilarious.
Call me crazy. Lamar Jackson makes the Ravens. Jalen Hurts does not make the Eagles. And I know.
Can I agree to disagree with that?
Yeah, but
I understand why
Ryan's
you're saying
gonna
it.
say, well, that's the MVP talk. No. So, you know how much I sit there and I gripe on Lamar.
That's the MVP for the team.
Yes, he's the MVP for the team, but the MVP for the team for the Eagles is A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I think that's easily
Lamar
arguable
Jackson
this
is doing this with no wide receivers.
year. Zay Flowers has been very good
yes,
this year.
but he has not been
Dallas,
nearly. I can't believe I can't do this. It hurts.
But Mark Andrews is still solid up until his injury.
But it's just I can't believe I'm defending the Ravens.
No, you're defending. No, you're defending the front office for paying for Lamar.
And
I argued. I argued, by the way.
Shouldn't. That's what I'm saying. I was wrong.
Well, no, I argued, by the way, that the front office made out when Jalen signed his contract because they didn't have to pay Lamar as much.
Yeah.
And I was accurate.
Yes.
Because now Lamar looks like the best quarterback on this board outside of Russell Wilson, and he's not paid the most overall.
Yeah, I think there's 3 quarterbacks that aren't worth the money, and they're all on the left side.
At this point.
Watson,
And I'm using
Burrow,
that caveat is at this point because most of these guys are in the first year of their contract.
Yeah, Watson, Burrow, Hurts. I'm ready to say it on Allen, but guess what? He's carrying that team. That team is.
I would like to argue because
like Colin Cowherd said, that team's 85% Josh Allen.
So you know what the funny conversation about the Josh Allen thing, right? Like look at his stat line, 25-14. He's still throwing almost a 2-to-1 ratio. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, but you go up a little bit more and you go look at Patrick Mahomes, who's making way more than he is.
Well,
oh no, it's a 10-year.
It's a 10-year contract.
It's goofy how they play it out.
Yeah. So his is a 10-year contract. Now, but I would argue that when I look up one person to Justin Herbert.
So I'm not ready to judge on that yet just because of. But
I'm ready to judge on it.
I have to.
I'm ready to judge on it.
He's worth it.
He's worth it. 20-7. He's not turning the ball over.
And look at what he's done with abysmal coaching.
Look at what he's done with injuries at wide receiver. I don't think he's ever had 2 healthy wide receivers all season outside of last year. Outside of last year.
So I was a big fan of Anthony Lynn with the Chargers. I don't know why they let him go. I don't know. But Brandon Staley essentially took that team back at least a year or 2.
So, but here's the one thing I wanted to ask you because we were talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes isn't playing abysmal this year.
He's not playing great.
But 23-11 with 3,400 yards.
Look at, Russell Wilson.
Oh, no. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying for the Kansas City Chiefs production. It's not Mahomes' fault.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
It drops.
It's
the same conversation with
Russell Wilson too,
and Herbert,
Jerry Jeudy, dropping balls left and right.
And I know Russell doesn't have the passing yards, but that's not his fault. He's thrown 24 touchdowns and 8 interceptions with less yards.
Decision making.
Yeah, that's veteran.
Yep.
Veteeranism right there. I guess if you could say that's a word.
But I think there's some conversation that we missed that Russell Wilson could get the MVP. He should.
We've had him as a top 5 or top 10 quarterback all year.
And I think if Russell Wilson
he's been a silent killer, right?
He has been. He's been very good this year. So I didn't want to pull that. I apologize. I just want to say, hey, looking at the worth moving forward. So right now, what we see, and we already said that technically we could say 2 of these guys are injury prone, Deshaun Watson and Joe Burrow. So for their contracts, both these guys are at this point injury prone.
Yeah, and they're not worth it. And I don't think Hurts is worth it long term because I think you've seen the best of Hurts already last year. I think he hit his ceiling.
I think he hit his ceiling, and I think Lamar Jackson hit his ceiling of the MVP year. Both those guys.
You have not seen the ceiling for Justin Herbert yet.
I don't think you've seen the ceiling for.
You've seen the ceiling for Josh Allen.
You've seen the ceiling for Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson. I don't think you've seen the ceiling for Josh Allen. I don't think so.
I'm a Josh Allen fan. I think you've seen it. But Herbert, like I said, there's a lot of untapped potential that they have not unlocked from Herbert.
I think when you look at what if Josh Allen had a better scheming OC.
Oh, you mean that runs the ball more than using him? Yeah, like I've called for the last 2 years.
I'm just saying, like, let's just take a quick gander just because we know, right? Take Sean Payton.
And give him Josh
Allen.
They would have 10 wins.
Right. Because Josh Allen has the ability to change the game.
And Sean Payton's an old school. Run, pass, run, pass,
run, pass. Right. So I think it'd be different.
And that's exactly what you see with the Russell Wilson stat line.
Pulling back out of that, now going back to where we were, Kansas City and the Patriots.
I love that. That was a great little segue. Good job. I like that.
I don't know what I
graphic,
did.
Man.
Well, I was going to do 4 more because there's a few guys that need to be talked about. Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers, but their contracts are short-term deals.
But it's not. That's something.
Those are franchise contract signings.
That's the difference between. I'm not trying to pat our own backs. Is us in bigger markets is they don't discuss stuff like that.
I agree. They're not going to.
Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. The only thing they've discussed this year is Deshaun Watson because of the allegations from a couple of years ago.
But I think Patrick Mahomes at this point is worth the money.
He's worth the money. You got your Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You have your
Got
starter.
2 Super Bowls.
You have your starter for 10 years.
Yeah.
You have your starter for 10 years.
I agree. So, okay, now, I think Kansas City wins this game, but it's going to be a tough
So
win.
it's biting at the nails.
I think you need to get Jerick McKinnon involved.
In the passing game?
All over the field.
Oh, like you did in the Super Bowl win?
Yes. This death, 100%. But you have no Pacheco, right?
Pacheco's out.
And I think you need to get Kadarius Toney back involved into the jet sweeps.
He's fast enough. Yes, you can.
So, that being said, I will take the Chiefs to win this game 24-10.
I have 17-14 Pats.
And the reason why the Patriots only score 10 is because the Kansas City Chiefs defense is still pretty darn good.
Yeah.
So, 24-10 Chiefs.
All right.
All right, moving on here into the 4 o'clock games. We go to, take this graphic off, and then we go to San Francisco going into Arizona. Arizona had upset Dallas this year. Can they do it again?
They play a lot better. They play better at home. Obviously, in that game that they upset Dallas, they did not have Kyler Murray. They had Josh Dobbs.
Just saying.
So this is I don't know. This game scares me. Do you remember there was 3 games this week that scared me.
You know what's funny about this game?
And this is the second one. The Browns game, this one, and we'll talk about one at 8 o'clock.
You know what's funny about this game? All the arguments I made for Brock Purdy
are there, but it's hard for you to.
It's hard for me to solidify, right? Because if they lose this game because Arizona's defense and the way that Joshua Gannon has been coaching, it's hard, man. It's hard.
And if you win this game, you can't get rid of Kyler.
They're not getting rid of
I know, but I'm saying all those questions that I made last year they're out the window. They're gone. Fart in the wind.
I will say San Francisco can win this game.
I think it's a blowout.
And the reason why is because Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, fuck you, Christian McCaffrey. You cost me $700 last week. I needed you for a touchdown. That's all I needed you for, and you didn't get it.
All right, so here's what I'll say. This is a close game. I don't think it's a blowout.
No, I think it's a blowout, but I don't know if I can call.
What is the one thing San Francisco's bad at covering?
Tight ends. Trey
McBride, man.
Dude, he's been having a year.
And then once you start closing in on Trey McBride, you have Michael Wilson and Marquise Brown over top.
And well, Marquise Brown is questionable with a heel injury. I think he should play. They're coming off their bye.
Yeah, that too.
And a heel injury, that's big for a wide receiver.
Spurs and stuff like that. Yeah, it could be a problem.
People are like, it's soft tissue. No.
But you still have Rondale Moore.
Rondale Moore did step up.
He's been a solid 2 all year.
Yeah.
And then you still have Dortch.
Greg Dortch. Yeah, he's
still
fast.
Greg Dortch.
I could see some jet suits with him.
Here's what I'm going to tell you right now. Kyler Murray is going to look good in this game. He is going to look like he's comfortable and back to himself. Because guess what Kyler is very good at? Stretching the play. And guess who they're going to be coming after all day? And I think if you over-pursue on Kyler Murray, it's a Lamar Jackson argument. Someone's going to be left open.
And that's where Nick Bosa has issues. He loves to over-pursue. He loves to jump that. He's like Miles in a way. Miles over-pursues quite a bit.
You know what? Let's have fun with this one because I think I'm going to right at 100% of the time this week. I'm going to take Arizona on this one.
Okay.
I'll take Arizona on this one.
So you're doing what I did with the Jets. Okay.
I'll take Arizona on this one. Yeah, this will be my my great upset of the week. I'll take Arizona.
I have 2 upsets.
It'll be
Pats.
crazy. I'm going to go 24-21 Arizona by a field goal.
I have San Francisco 21-10.
All right. We'll move on. Stardom's.
Ayuk, Kittle.
The entire San Fran offense?
Everybody
right?
on the San Fran.
Debo, Ayuk, Kittle. Do you start Juwan?
Yeah.
Do you start Juwan over a guy like Rondale Moore?
Yes.
You think?
No, I don't. I don't start him.
I start him over a guy like Mike Wilson, maybe.
Mike Wilson, but not Rondale Moore. Rondale Moore would be wide receiver 1. Trey McBride will be wide receiver 1.
I agree with that.
I would start Trey McBride regardless. Trey McBride's going to get at least 6 to 8 targets.
Yep, I agree. And then running back is
James Conner. I start him.
James Conner back. You just said they're the number 1 rush defense in the league, though.
They need to use him in the passing game. They also have who they trade for or who they pick up, Michael Carter.
They'll never use him.
No, come to Cleveland.
That drives me insane. All right.
We already have one Jets player.
Brock Purdy, stardom.
Or 2 Jets players.
Brock Purdy, stardom. Kyler?
Yeah.
You like Kyler as a stardom?
Yeah, even with it's the rushing upside.
I agree.
Rushing upside helps me as a quarterback, especially even to go to a better rushing team.
Me and you need to sit down one of these days, and we need to make sure that we have only like 12 or 14 stardoms, and then the rest sit-ems. It's out of 36 because we do a lot of stardoms. But I think to be honest, you can get away with saying stardom to every quarterback, but you want to pick the best.
Yeah, we sat Zach Wilson. We didn't like him.
Yeah, that was a hard say.
You said Bailey. I think you said Zappy. I think you said Zappy, obviously.
Yeah, definitely too. Okay, going into LA. Washington is going to LA. Sam Howell, the number 1 or number 2 in passing yards. I think he's number 2. CJ Stroud's 1.
You are looking for some fire with the Rams. They are in playoff contention. They can get a wild card bid even closer with the win today. But I don't think it happens. They had that overtime loss to the Baltimore Ravens in that rain game. I think they are still tired, given it was a week ago.
They had a week.
Give me Washington by a field goal.
I
like being crazy. I can be crazy.
No, I think it's another high-scoring game, right? So the over-under on this game.
We have no games in the 30s. There's always at least one.
No, I do. I think I said
28.
I said 30, 27.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find this Washington game. Sorry. So LA is favored by 6.5. I agree with this. Over under is 50.5. I also would agree with that. This is the game where Washington will find a way to score, but LA is just that much better, and I don't think Washington can stop that wide receiver core, even banged up. And they had that backup Robinson, who's played very well at wide receiver when Puka goes out.
DeMarcus Robinson.
Yep.
He used to play for the Ravens, I believe.
No, this is his second year, I think, on the Rams. He's a second-year player, I'm pretty sure. Look it up. You're like, I swear to God, if you're right again today.
It might be the Ravens.
So here's what I'll say. I will take the LA Rams, and I think your stardoms are obviously Puka, Cooper, Kyron Williams. I think you can start Curtis Samuel this week if he's still healthy.
KC, Baltimore, Rams.
This is his 3rd year?
No, he's got drafted in 17.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He's got a Super Bowl.
He does. And then I think you can start. Oh, Brian Robinson is out. Antonio Gibson is the starting running back on this offense. You definitely could start Antonio Gibson because he's the better in the pass game.
Remember what I said a couple weeks back? You better pick up Antonio Gibson for playoff run?
To be honest, I picked him up like 2 days ago.
You should have listened to me sooner.
Well, I didn't need him. I did 2 days ago when Jonathan Taylor went out. Like 2 weeks ago when Jonathan Taylor went out.
Feels nose ball.
And then I think you could start both quarterbacks, Sam Howell and Stafford.
You're taking the Rams.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Rams. I'm going to say 27-24. No. I want the over. I'm going to go 30-27 Rams.
It's because I said we know 30 games. 30-27?
Yeah, 30-27
right, so
Rams.
I'm going goofy. Washington wins 19-17.
You're slamming the under. Holy cow.
3 straight field goals to 1.
You know, I will say that most of the times when there's an over, I think the under hits like 64% of the time.
Vegas knows.
So I wouldn't be shocked if this was under 50.5. But I would be. Just too many weapons and not enough secondary defense. That's my argument. So moving on from here, because to be honest, that game does not really matter.
No.
Outside of LA has to win to be in playoff contention. This is the last 4 o'clock game that is going to be super contentious. What do we say? Buffalo was favored by 2.5 at home.
Give me Dallas. This is a game that's going to go to overtime. Dallas wins 27-24 in overtime.
Give me Buffalo. Dallas has been on a streak. And Buffalo is bouncing back, looking good, using their run game. I'm going to say 28. I did it again. I'm going to say 31-27 Buffalo.
You love 28. You should go play
It's
that.
because it's four touchdowns.
I should go play that on a roulette table.
It's 4 touchdowns.
When I go to Pittsburgh next week, I'll throw $10 on 28.
And a roulette. And then stardoms this week. I think you have to start Tony Pollard. He's definitely, I think, a stardom this week.
Do you?
I think you have to. I think he's utilizing the pass game again, so I think you have to.
Do you start Fergie?
Yeah, I think Ferguson actually has become a top 10 or top 15 tight end. I think you have to start Jake Ferguson.
Yeah, Jake Ferguson. You start CD. I think you start Cooks.
You start Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis at home because
at home
on average gets about 60 receiving yards.
I start Dallas's defense even though I have Buffalo winning. I see at least one pick six.
I have Dallas win 27-24 overtime.
And then I have Stephon Diggs, obvious stardom. Dalton Kincaid stardom. Dawson Knox will take some targets this week though from Dalton Kincaid. So it might be a little harder on those Dalton Kincaid owners because they're going to run 2 tight end sets.
There's going to be a lot of tight end sets. So what's essentially going to be is you have 2 tight ends and you're going to have your obviously Diggs and Davis.
And then James Cook's a stardom this week.
Yeah, if Sean McDermott can get his head off his ass and actually call running plays.
You obviously have to start Josh Allen and Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
You have too much invested in both those guys to not start them. All right. Out of the 4 o'clock game, moving on to Sunday Night Football. You have the first in the AFC going against the team who's been trying to compete for the first place in the AFC, Baltimore, going into Duval. What are we looking at?
Give me I'm slamming that line. Give me
Jacksonville at home.
Baby. Give me Jacksonville at home.
This is a tough game for Baltimore. Baltimore's coming off a tough game against the Rams.
An emotional win.
Very emotional win in overtime with a kick return for a touchdown. Jacksonville's coming off a very emotional loss. I think that Baltimore struggles because they don't have tight end play this week. This is a week where they could use Zach Ertz or Mark Andrews.
Give me Jacksonville 21-17.
Stardoms for me.
Trevor Lawrence, Lamar.
Oh, definitely both quarterbacks.
Evan Ingram.
I don't know. I think you have to start Likely, right? Just because of the potential.
Yeah, you would start Ridley and who's the Zay? Who's the other guy that for them? For Jacksonville.
Ridley, Zay Jones, and then is it Chenault or is that Carolina?
No. I forgot his name.
Who are you talking about? Tight end or?
No, it's the backup wide receiver. Parker Washington.
Yeah, Washington, the rookie.
Yep, I would start him and Zay Jones. I think Zay's healthy. Because you remember, Zay Jones had a huge year last year before Ridley got there.
Christian Kirk is out. You guys all know that he's on the IR.
He's done for the year.
Well, done for the regular season.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Done for the, regular season.
Zay Flowers, stardom. I actually think Odell.
OBJ. Yep.
Odell is definitely a stardom at this point.
Yep. Who is your bust of the week for this game?
Bust? Keaton Mitchell.
I was going to say Gus, but okay.
Keaton, the run game.
In general? Yeah.
Yeah. ETN's definite stardom. ETN's going to eat all day.
Yeah. And if they get up big, don't be surprised if you see a lot of Tanks big.
I don't think they'll get up big. I'm
talking about like if they get up by 10, you're going to see some Tanks big as we out there.
You'll see more running, but I don't think it'll be bigs. I think it'll be more ETN because you have to solidify the first down, and ETN's been more productive.
Yeah, with yards per carry, you're not wrong.
Yeah. Lamar for over 50. Lamar is going to have to run in this game to keep the ball alive. I know that he hasn't done it much this year, but I think if Lamar wants to win this game, he's going to have to make all the right decisions. And one of those right decisions is going to be running for first downs. So I think he's going to be over 50. I don't know what his over-under is today. But that being said, I got to take Jacksonville. I'm taking Jacksonville as a heart pick. I'm also taking Jacksonville because you took Jacksonville, so if I lose this one, it doesn't hurt as bad.
I should let you go first from now on. The cop out. Childish.
It is very childish on this one. But I took the risk on the Arizona one, so you're welcome for that one. Now, Jacksonville, I say, wins this game. It is a close game. I'm going to go 27-24. Jacksonville.
I have 21-17 Jacksonville. So we both got Jacks. All right. So.
And I think Jacksonville is only, they're the underdogs by 3.5. So I would take Jacksonville to cover.
Yep, I would too. At home, you're getting 3.
So that's technically a favorite 1.5. That's technically a favor of 5.5,
yep.
Roughly.
Almost a touchdown.
Yeah.
Tease that up to 6.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or actually, yeah, you could tease it to 7.
I would tease it to 7.
Yeah, you're gonna lose some
We
money on
know that Justin Tucker's gonna miss an extra point. I haven't missed my kicker. I don't want that. All right.
Let's go into Monday.
This is going to be a fun conversation, though, with the Baltimore and Jacksonville thing, because if Jacksonville wins, Baltimore loses, and the Browns win, there's 2 teams now in the AFC that are only a game out of first.
Yep.
3, because I have Kansas City winning if they win. So there'll be 3 or 4 teams going for the first place spot.
Yeah.
And Baltimore now has a very tough end of season schedule, because I'm pretty sure Baltimore plays a couple games away coming up. Upcoming games, they play San Fran in San Fran.
Dallas.
They play Miami, and then they play the Steelers at the end of the season. This is why I don't think they'll lose the Steelers game, because I think they're going to have to play that game.
Well, we said that last week. We said that they're not sitting anybody the rest of the year. You have to. You're essentially you're winning every game.
You have. I think you have to
try to win.
Now, if they win this week, it's a little easier of a road.
You can. You can't let off the gas though.
I think you let off on San Francisco and try not to get hurt, and then go play the next 2. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Moving into the last game of the week, Philly going into Seattle. This game is going to be a shit show if Philly doesn't figure their shit out.
Give me Seattle. Remember who I said doesn't make that team?
Jalen Hurts?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Geno Smith doesn't make that team.
No, the running backs do.
But who's the better running back? Who's the better defense against the run? That's a good question, right?
I think Seattle is. Seattle I think is bottom.
Rushing yards per game, Philly is in 6th place.
Oof. Where's Seattle?
Oh, at the bottom. I didn't even have to look.
I think there's what,
they're like 27, 25.
But Seattle is good at home. That 12th man helps, man. I'm telling you.
That helps in the pass game.
It's a different.
Helps in the pass game. I agree.
Give me Seattle.
What's the over-under on this game?
Probably 42.5.
47.5.
Okay.
And Philly's only favored by 3, but they're in Seattle.
So 1.5.
So 4.5.
Oh, 4.5, yeah.
No, you're right.
1.5.
1.5 because they got a 1.5 for being home. Yeah, so you're right. It's a 1.5. That's a tough one, man.
Give me Seattle. I think Seattle wins by a field goal.
I'm gonna slam the under 47.5. Right. I'm gonna slam the under. I'm gonna say 24-21.
17-14.
But I'm gonna go. This is tough. I'm gonna go Philly.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 24-21 Philly. I think they have to win this game.
24 what?
24-21 Philly. They have to win this game. Because if they don't win this game, they're not in contention for first place.
Okay.
And I will argue, if Arizona wins, I think they definitely win this game.
Because it gives them that much more fire.
Well, they're in first place.
Yeah. But wait. Yeah, because they split with Dallas.
They'd be in second.
No.
Yeah, because Dallas currently is the leader in the division.
Yeah. No, they're both 10-3.
Right, but Dallas is leading the division.
Yeah.
They're in the wild card right now.
Yeah.
Philly's the 5 seed right now in the NFC.
Yeah. Both 10-3.
That'll be a tough one. So, yeah, that'll be a tough one. It's gonna be fun games to watch. This is a hugely contentious week.
I think Jalen Hurts struggles.
But I think Geno struggles.
I think it's a 2-turnover game.
I think you have to start both these quarterbacks, right? Because I think.
But I think Hurts turns it over twice.
Well, that's average. Like
he was practicing falling with the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an issue with Jalen Hurts turning the ball over. I have an issue with Jalen Hurts in that offense not using the RPO.
It should be air raid RPO.
Yeah, like get him in the open field.
It's high school offense.
Yep.
I'm not saying that as it's they're stupid or anything. It's just the way that Jalen Hurts that's what benefits the team is running it.
And
RPO, air raid.
if you look at what Steichen's done with the Colts and that RPO offense and Gardner Minshew,
it's like a
who by the way was the backup behind Jalen Hurts last year.
And you know where Steichen came from, right?
Philly. Right, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
He has a quarterback that he's familiar with.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's why he took Anthony Richardson in the draft.
You're not wrong.
Cam Newton, Lamar-esque, right?
Yeah.
Better talent than Jalen Hurts, in my mind.
Better arm.
I'm just saying, like, a lot of people love Jalen Hurts, and I have people like, Jalen Hurts should get the MVP. Jalen Hurts the best quarterback of the year. Jalen Hurts, Jalen Hurts. I'm like, hey, guys,
he doesn't make that
relax.
team. He doesn't make that team. A.J. Brown does.
Right. And we're not gonna have this argument, right? Like,
No,
A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith are better wide receivers than Michael Pittman and Josh Downs.
Yes.
By the way, you called Alec Pierce having a decent game yesterday, but the injury was a problem.
Yeah, so that was I didn't want to say anything because Michael Pittman had.
But Alec Pierce showed up.
Yards. Yeah.
But when they needed Alec Pierce, he showed up. Now I will say Gardner Minshew slung a ball at his face in the end zone that he was not ready for. He was like, he literally was like, "Oh, it's over there."
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. I got nothing outside of my really bad jokes at the beginning of the show. We are coming back Wednesday to have some more conversations about the Thursday games.
And then we'll be back Friday night at 8 p.m.
We'll be back Friday night. We will not be here unless you're going to be here Christmas Eve in the morning.
I will not.
Okay. I didn't think you would. We will not be here Christmas morning, so we will have a long Friday night show. We're trying to get Bo here to have some good conversations. It'll probably be closer to a 2-hour show. I'd love to have you guys here. I'd love to have some good conversations. It'll be at 8 p.m. on Friday. So we will have a Wednesday and a Friday show this week. No Christmas Eve show. And then moving into the New Year's week, we will have a Wednesday show. You will not be here Friday?
No, I'll be in Pittsburgh.
Okay, so I will try to have a Friday show with Bo. It'll try to be me and Bo, and then you will be in chat, I'm assuming.
Yep, I will be in chat.
All right. So that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Again, as always, I hope you win your bets, but just to give you an FYI, do not give financial advice.
Only bet with what you can lose, ladies and gentlemen. And if you need help, call the gambling hotline.
There it is. I'm trying to figure out how to get the graphics off the show. I was like, what the hell? Is there a gambling hotline? We should probably get that number one of these days.
Yeah, we should probably have it
It's just posted
right
up against
there.
the wall where my brown... By the way, for all you out there, I've had multiple Browns decor break in my basement.
A brownie.
Randomly.
A sign.
I was upstairs and it just fell off the wall. So...
Not only are our players getting injured, our decor is getting injured.
If I were you, bet on Chicago because it looks like bad juju in my basement. Just telling you. So,
Better knock on wood.
I can't knock on enough wood in this place. I'm going to be honest with you. If it's wood, I'm knocking on it. So, that sounded kind of weird.
That was your chair.
No, if it's wood, I'm knocking on it.
Oh, right.
Give me your takeaways so we can head on the show.
Just like I said, only bet with what you can lose. Don't be surprised if there's 2 or 3 upsets this week. Or any given day, any given Sunday, right? Any given Sunday. So, my takeaways for this week are start your studs. I know we had 4 games already this week. So you start your studs. You got to feel confident. They got you there. There's no reason to sit them now.
All right. And my takeaways for this week, as always, sorry, this hat's been bothering me all day today. As you could tell, I do not like basketball, and I think the Cavs and everything in the NBA is trash. I'd rather watch March Madness, which we probably will talk a little bit about coming into the new season when we go into the next year of football. That being said, guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time for the AFC North to be renowned as the best division in all of the NFL. And if you haven't figured it out, you're not paying attention. Do it. Love y'all, guys.
Later.
Peace out.